Imagine this. It's 3 a.m. in Tehran. The city is quiet and still. Suddenly, air raid sirens begin to echo through the night. People look out from their windows, and the sky reveals a strange and unsettling sight. Lines of light streaking across the darkness. Missiles. Seconds later, explosions. And in that moment, the world realizes that the long-running shadow conflict between Iran and Israel may be on the verge of turning into an open war. For decades, tension has existed in the Middle East, but in recent years, that tension has moved far beyond political statements. Now it includes missiles, cyber attacks, and information warfare. And the real question is, could all of this be the beginning of a major regional war? Or is the world heading toward another long and complex proxy conflict? To understand this, we need to go a little further back in time. The hostility between Iran and Israel is not new. After the Iranian Revolution, Iran's new leadership declared Israel its primary geopolitical opponent. From Iran's perspective, Israel represented the center of Western influence in the Middle East. For Israel, Iran became a powerful state supporting groups across the region that challenge Israeli security. Since then, a strange situation has emerged. Direct war has remained rare, but the shadow war has continued to grow. Sometimes in Syria, sometimes in Lebanon, sometimes through cyber attacks, and sometimes through covert operations. If we look at today's conflict, it's no longer just a clash between two countries. It has become a multi-front confrontation. One front is the Gaza Strip, where Hamas and Israel face each other. Another front is Lebanon, where Hezbollah operates. A third front is Syria, where Iranian forces and Israeli airstrikes often collide. And then there is the Gulf region, where American military bases are also present. In other words, the region resembles a giant chessboard, where every move affects multiple squares at once. But in today's world, wars are not decided only by missiles. There is another battlefield, the battlefield of information. Open social media, and you will see competing narratives everywhere. Videos, images, hashtags. Each side is trying to shape global public opinion, because in modern geopolitics, winning the battlefield alone is not enough. You also have to win the narrative. In recent years, Israel has invested heavily in military technology. Systems like the Iron Dome have become famous worldwide for intercepting incoming rockets in mid-air. But Iran has not remained behind. Iran has made significant advances in drones and ballistic missile technology. And that is why many analysts believe that if a direct war ever breaks out, it could be extremely destructive. Another important factor is proxy groups. Iran is frequently accused of supporting several armed groups across the region. For example, Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as various groups operating in Iraq and Syria. From Israel's perspective, these networks represent one of the biggest threats to its national security. That is why part of Israel's strategy involves weakening these groups, sometimes through airstrikes, sometimes through intelligence operations. But the story does not end with military strategy. This conflict also has global consequences. If a major war breaks out in the Middle East, one of the first markets to react is the oil market. A large portion of the world depends on this region for its energy supply. So whenever tensions rise between Iran and Israel, oil prices often move with them. And when oil prices shift, the global economy feels the impact. There is also another dimension to this conflict: great power politics. The United States has historically been Israel's strongest ally. Meanwhile, Iran's relationships with Russia and China have grown closer in recent years. This means that if tensions escalate further, it may not involve only regional players. Global powers could also become indirectly involved. That is one reason analysts around the world watch this conflict so carefully. But another question emerges. If both sides understand that a direct war would be extremely costly, why does the tension keep rising? The answer lies in the reality of geopolitics. Sometimes countries do not want a full-scale war, but they still want to maintain pressure. So cyber attacks, intelligence operations, and limited strikes continue. This situation is often described by analysts as war below the threshold. In other words, conflict exists, but it has not yet crossed into full war. History, however, teaches us something important. Sometimes even a small mistake can trigger a much larger war. A miscalculation, an unexpected strike, a political decision, and suddenly the situation can spiral out of control. Today, the world stands at a strange moment. Technology moves fast, information spreads even faster, and political decisions are made just as quickly. The conflict between Iran and Israel is not just a story about two countries. It is a story about power struggles in the Middle East. It is a story about global alliances. And it is a story about a world where a missile, a tweet, or a viral video can reshape geopolitics. So the question remains the same. Is this simply another phase in a long rivalry? Or is the world standing dangerously close to a new and far more volatile chapter? Right now, no one has a clear answer. But one thing is certain. If the conflict between Iran and Israel continues to escalate, its impact will not remain confined to the Middle East. Its echoes will be heard across the entire world. Drop your comments on what you think about this. Is it a simple war between two countries, or the start of a big new crisis?